This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And welcome back. In honor of February being Heart Health Month, Samantha Croy is checking out the new Heart Center in Macon. Good morning, Samantha.
Thanks, Ella, and good morning, Heartland. I'm in Macon this morning, lounging out and having a great time at the Missouri Heart Center. Here in Macon, they have a new facility. They just moved out of their old one, and they're ready to help and get your heart healthy for Heart Month of February, of course. I'm here with Afton Miller, who is the Director of Outreach Services, and we're going to be performing one of the tests that can be done to make sure that everything's going well in your heart after an EKG, of course. So tell me a little bit about that process.
Yes, basically our first line of defense is an EKG, which you can get with your primary care physician or urgent care or an ER. This basically, if you're having any chest pain, this gives us an indication if there's any idea of any issues going on. So basically what might happen is the physician would ask for you to have an echocardiogram. That's the next line of defense. Basically, we're going to look at the overall size and function of the heart and make sure it's working appropriately.
And this is the first process. There are two parts, I guess you could say, of this. So this is the first part. I am hooked up with a few cords here to monitor.
Yes, we do have you hooked up to a EKG, and right now, basically it's giving me timing, so I can measure your heart function.
Okay. So our next step then,
to grab a couple pictures, and basically I'm looking at the overall size and function of the left ventricle, which is this little black hole right here. This is the mitral valve and the aortic valve, and basically I'm making sure they're closing properly, and all that looks good right now, Samantha.
Perfect. So my heart is healthy, that's always good. So now when someone is laying here, are they supposed to monitor their breathing? What do you ask them to do?
We can actually have them take deep breaths in, hold their breath, breathe shallow. It all just helps us with our imaging.
So to get a good idea of during each type of breath that's being taken.
Yes.
All right, well, perfect. This is, like I said, the first part of the test, and we're going to head on over to the second part of the test, so of course stay tuned for that. But for now, Good Morning Heartland will continue right after this.
Welcome back. So as you know, Samantha is hanging out at the Heart Center in Macon, and she's all hooked up and undergoing a stress test. Let's see how things are going. Hey, Samantha.
Thanks, Ella. If you're just joining us, again, I'm in Macon this morning at the Missouri Heart Center, and you know, I'm going pretty slow right now, but I was really running fast before. Just take my word for it. But I'm here. This is the second part of the stress echo test. We did the first part earlier, and again, I'm here with Afton Miller, who is the Director of Outreach Services. So what does this test entail? How does it kind of work?
Basically, we put patients on a treadmill, we monitor their blood pressure, and we're monitoring their EKG in 10 leads. And basically, we get a synopsis of what is happening with their heart. Each lead connects to a certain segment of the heart and will show us any abnormalities like ST depression or elevation. It can show us arrhythmias, and basically it's a really good test to diagnose coronary artery disease.
So about how long would someone be on the test for?
Well, it depends on your exercise capacity. So if you're not really athletic, you could actually be on here 4 minutes or less. But someone who's athletic like yourself could be on here 20 minutes or more.
Athletic, I'm not so sure about that. It's been a little while, you know, don't let my running before fool you. But tell me, kind of go through the steps here on what you're looking for and what all of this is showing you.
Yes, basically we start off with an EKG tracing, and basically over time this will show us a summary of how it has changed based off of your capacity level. The treadmill will raise up and speed up in increments of 3 minutes. So it starts off pretty slow, but aggressively will get harder over time.
And now you said I was hooked up to 10 leads.
Yes.
I do have the blood pressure monitoring me here. How does everything look?
Everything looks wonderful. You're progressing nicely, Samantha.
Yeah. And my heart rate, you know, I was a little nervous before. What's that like?
Right now you're cruising about 126.
Okay, so not too bad.
Right, and we would go off of the 85 percentile, and we calculate that. We take 220 minus your age to figure that. So that would give us kind of a baseline of where we need to get your heart to make it a perfect test.
And then lastly, what is the next step after this test here?
If you were to have an abnormality, and we show abnormalities in the tracings or the post-imaging of ultrasound, basically you would follow up with a cardiologist. You might possibly have a heart catheterization based on the findings.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, for showing us how to do these tests to keep our heart healthy. And of course, we'll put all this information on our website, heartlandconnection.com. We'll link up the Missouri Heart Center in Macon as well. If you have any questions, reporting live in Macon, Samantha Croy, KTVO News.